I am Ray, and how might you know if you're spiritual bypassing? First of all, spiritual bypassing is the process of taking a spiritual idea and using it to avoid facing the truth, to avoid growth, to avoid expansion, so that your spiritual ego can feel nice and comfortable. Let's look up some definitions, shall we? When someone uses spiritual practices to avoid dealing with unresolved emotional issues, psychological wounds, or other developmental tasks. It's basically a mechanism for protection. A few examples are detachment from emotions, numbing and repression, overemphasis on the positive, anger, phobia, or avoidance of anger, blind or overly tolerant compassion, weak or porous boundaries, lopsided development, debilitating judgment about one's negativity. So one idea might be, well, the spiritual community tells me to be positive. I have to be positive in love and light. And so all the negative aspects of myself, well, we can't be having that. You see, true spirituality is about wholeness, and it's about truth. And so long as you are attached to one sliver of truth, you will remain in ignorance. If you are too lopsided toward any one attachment, you will be enslaved by the ego. For instance, if I say, well, I just want to focus on my spiritual stuff, my spiritual practices, and I'm going to just avoid dealing with this world because this world is beneath me. The earthly pleasures and all of the things of this world, they don't mean anything. What matters is my spiritual connection to God. What only matters is the inner journey. I forget who said it, but basically the quote goes, "Whoever runs out into the mountains to live out their days in meditation and in isolation, they do not know the way. And those who dive into the worldly pleasures, the world of 10,000 things, they too do not know the way. But the way is found on the middle path, to be in the world, but not of the world." Let's break down some things that I have said that could possibly lead to spiritual bypassing. For instance, one spiritual idea is the idea of non-doership. It's as you progress on the spiritual journey, you continue to lose the sense that you are actually doing anything, but that life is flowing and acting through you, and you are like a passenger. You are the watcher behind all of your experiences. And so some people can feel, well, okay, well, if I'm not doing anything, now what? Do I just sit in bed all day and meditate and do nothing? And so spiritual bypassing would be, okay, well, I'm not the doer of anything, so I'm not going to do anything. That is lack of responsibility, lack of honoring your incarnation, lack of doing your duty. But the key to avoid falling into this trap of spiritual bypassing is in the non-judgment of yourself and your experiences. Because when your mind gets entangled with your experiences, you lose clarity of the truth. You get caught in your own little world, your own story, your own reality. And so you won't know if you are spiritually bypassing. But if you silently observe your experiences and trust that whatever is happening for your spiritual growth, then whether you are spiritually bypassing or not, it doesn't matter. Because shortly you will learn, because your mind is not being obstructed by all of this mental chatter, by all of this different noise, and you will be able to see clearly what ways that you are behaving that are working and which ways are not working. Because any unsustainable behavior will make itself known because of the consequences it creates in our life. And as you dive deeper on the spiritual journey, you become more and more sensitive to energy. So when you do something or when you think a thought that throws your energy off, you will feel it strongly. And you will say, well, I don't want to go down that path anymore. So you course correct. And so spiritual bypassing from this lens is not something you have to worry about, because you're not operating from spiritual ego. You're operating from the silent awareness behind all experiences. Therefore, you have access to clarity and truth. And when you have access to clarity and truth, you can make the right decisions. because you have the proper information. Almost in a way, you live like a scientist, clear and objective. But if we live from spiritual ego, we will have all of these stories, all of these ideas, all of these rules that we have to live by, and it will cloud our judgment. And so if you can observe your experiences with a sense of detachment, not running away, not clinging, just allowing all feelings, all thoughts, all experiences to arise within your awareness. And if mentally you have the mindset of growth and expansion, of wanting to seek the truth, then you have nothing to worry about. But if you want to entertain this drama of being a spiritual person, of talking about spiritual ideas, and look at me, look how I'm so spiritual, well then you're going to experience a lot of problems. And the chances of you spiritually bypassing is like 100%. Because the framework in which you are living your life is from ego, not from the true presence that you are, not from the true awareness that you are. When you connect to yourself as the divine, your life enters into harmony. And so all that is out of harmony will begin correcting itself. I am Ray. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Much peace and many blessings.